Hi, Erin. Welcome to the show. I'm very excited to have you on today.
Thank you so much, Laura. It's good to see you again.
Yes, it is. So, you and I have known each other for years. We're colleagues practicing a few blocks from each other, essentially, in Jersey City, Hoboken, New Jersey. And you are a specialist as a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner using acupuncture, herbs, and also Qigong to help patients heal. And you also share the same passion for working with perinatal women and helping to optimize fertility and preparing for healthy pregnancy. So I would love for us to delve a little bit more into how a woman could utilize qigong and traditional Chinese medicine to optimize her fertility.
Sure. And if people don't know people still ask me, like, what is it? Is it Qigong? Is it Qigong? So in Chinese medicine, Qi is the Japanese way of saying Qi. So Chinese medicine would say Qigong. Reiki, Qi is it's the Japanese uh, version of Qi, mind you. But Qigong essentially is it's part of traditional Chinese medicine. So if Chinese medicine were a wheel, acupuncture is one of those spokes. Chinese herbal medicine is another, nutrition, body work, and then Qigong. And essentially, Qigong is a combination of breath work, slow movements, some stretching, some activation, and then these flowing meditative movements. So it's a combination of um, learning to breathe more efficiently, learning where we're holding tension and tightness, where first of all, what it feels like when energy is activated, and which essentially chi is like loosely translated as our life force energy. It's
Mhm.
the animating part of who we are, and learning how to optimize how energy is or is not flowing so that we feel integrated physically, emotionally, and spiritually, or in our consciousness. And it's really aligning those three, much like I like the analogy of an orchestra, right? If there's one piece of the equation that's not in tune, then the whole thing is discordant. It doesn't sound harmonious. So it's a way of like identifying where is something out of tune and how do we tune it so that things are working optimally. Loosely translating into Western medicine is like how are we breathing or not breathing, and how is our nervous system or not able to um, function in a cohesive way. Meaning, we all know that our sympathetic nervous system is important. It's part of it, but an integrated way would be we have a sympathetic nervous system response, and then we go into parasympathetic nervous system functioning, and there's an adequate balance. And as we know, we have a lot of stressors. Small doesn't mean that we're necessarily in this overwhelming fear state, but this low grade constant stimulation has been kind of calibrating that a lot more to be sympathetic dominant. And, as we know, that cascade of things that happen hormonally, and through our nervous system, kind of puts us at a disadvantage. Kind of our system is kind of internal organs, reproductive system included, kind of gets robbed of like the full expression of they can do or what it should be doing, because our system is in a state that is survival rather than optimal digestion, optimal reproduction. And Qigong is a system of internal work and really kind of understanding our own bodies a little bit better and optimizing the internal environment so that adequate blood flow is going to our reproductive system. We're getting really good sleep so that we're actually restoring overnight, that we're digesting our food and extracting those nutrients efficiently so that we're replenishing our reserves rather than always teetering on exhaustion.
Mhm.
So that's just a little background as to like what qigong is, and it probably sounds still a little mysterious, but we'll go into maybe some more of those specific questions, but that was sort of just understanding that qigong is a branch of traditional Chinese medicine. A lot of people, I think, are more familiar with the term tai chi, and
Yes.
I get a lot of question like, what is the difference? I like to say, like, if qigong is like learning the scales of a piano, learning the fundamentals and the foundations, tai chi is more analogous to learning a piece of music. So qigong is sort of like the foundation, right? A lot of that is like just how are we breathing? Are we moving through life in a relaxed way? Are we understanding the subtle aspects of when things aren't feeling in balance and how to work with it to create balance? And then Tai Chi is like a choreographed dance that you learn very sequential movements over the course, sometimes of months and months and months, and it's very precise. So Qigong is more repetitive. It's a little bit more accessible for people because you can do Qigong standing or sitting, sometimes even lying down. Tai Chi, it is a martial art. It's a discipline. So it's a martial
Mm.
arts oriented way of using those techniques, still optimizing the internal environment, but much more with like a martial arts aspect, like defense, like learning defense movements.
Got it. So it's like an advanced Tai Chi is like an advanced Qigong, essentially.
I would say it's like an advance. It's just the I think the intention is slightly different too. But yes.
Okay, right. So defense, it is used for like defending yourself.
Yeah, it's a little more rigorous. A lot of it is holding these postures for long periods of time. And, a small movement might look right. And then you'll have a teacher come in and like literally like move your finger a half of an inch. And so it's very it takes a lot of cerebral
It's very
work, right? It's very precise. So, once you learn it, then you can make it a little bit more like soften it, even in the context of martial arts. Qigong is just learning how to recalibrate the internal environment to optimize your health.
got it. That makes perfect sense to me. And maybe we can even like later on demonstrate some of the moves to kind of just make it real.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the people are like, "What?" I will, yeah, I would love to
You're
show
watching
you.
on YouTube, you can, like, actually see what it looks like. But, I think what I love about it is, the similarity between, chiropractic is working on the nerve flow, and then this is working on the chi flow, and we're balancing nervous system, parasympathetic, sympathetic, and we're also with that, we're going to see hormonal balance, right? Because essentially if the nervous system is balanced, we will see the endocrine system will be balanced, right? And that is what's making our hormones, and that can really restore health and vitality and specifically fertility.
100, yes, 100%. There's such an overlap of those two modalities or disciplines. I mean, yeah, learning how to recalibrate our nervous systems, helping proper blood flow to
Mhm.
our internal organs, to our extremities, how that impacts things like the foundations, like sleep and digestion, and even our immune system, right, is so tied into that. And as we know, like the uterine environment is there's a massive immunological component to the endometrial lining. It goes through conformational changes. And so the more trigger happy our nervous system is because it might be a little bit imbalanced, people getting sicker more easily, or allergies that are just out of control, like things that still can be optimized so that the immune system, of course, it does its job, right? Recognizing self from non-self, but a proper immune response, like a very robust but quick response, and then recalibrate back to homeostasis. And yeah, so working with whether it is qigong or chiropractic work, helping to improve the body's resilience and ability to come back to equilibrium vis-a-vis the nervous system, hormonally, neurotransmitter, it's all going to improve fertility because, as we know, like what the two main driving forces of a person, whether you actually want to or not. We all want to survive, I'm sure, and procreate. right? I mean, those are like the two. And we know that our survival will always trump anything else.
Yes.
Even, so it's like if we can get that to kind of like dial down and remind ourselves for the most part, hopefully, we're not in imminent danger.
'Cause you're, like, looking
I'm like,
around.
hopefully we're not in imminent danger. Maybe something I don't. And in retraining, part of like chiropractor work, acupuncture, qigong, it's helping the body like retrain itself to not be in that state as its dominant state. It's like,
Yes.
oh, having this really beautiful dance back and forth. And I feel like that's when, you can have a stressful situation and still be calm and then be able to rebalance much more quickly.
That rebound effect ability is so important. I think that's something great for women to be aware of. I mean, we're all gonna have stress in our life, right? And we can't avoid that. But when we are feeling stressed, how quickly can we manage our emotional state, right? And that's really an important skill. I think there's like, it's having that grounded, calm nervous system to be able to respond and then, kind of withdraw from that intensity. And then also there's like even what I find like the limiting beliefs that we have from our early childhood, how that can shape our ability to respond and move on essentially, right? Like there's so many components to it. It's fascinating.
There are so many components in that. Yes, that's a huge aspect to how we are an amalgamation of our previous experiences, and largely a lot of what they say we operate from is like our like 5 to 7 year old. It's like,
It's like
and just
98% of the subconscious beliefs that are driving the show.
right. And I think having the ability, even just without even consciously putting two and two together, like feeling just where, like, how are we breathing? Are we breathing as a dominant state more in our chest? Are we able to take deep? Are we really activating our diaphragms correctly? I mean, like that is like fundamental for a full, deep, sustained, um, you know, state of our breath, of our diaphragm having that flexibility, but also just where are we holding tightness? I mean, a lot of times in qigong, people like, I didn't even realize I had this tightness like in my pectoral on the right side, or like it's just starting to reacquaint of even where we are in space, proprioception, and becoming aware of our bodies, and also it's like relearning, "Oh my god, this is my body and this is how I feel in it and how it feels to actually feel good." Like coming back into this internal state where you feel good in your body and you feel your you can use these techniques as a way of discovering,
Mm,
"Oh my goodness, I had no idea I had such tension in my pelvic floor even."
right.
Right?
This
So
is
much.
great. This is very empowering for women. Essentially, we're working on connecting to our bodies and really being mindful of where we're storing stress and tension in our body. And then let's say a woman is now aware, like, oh my God, I'm holding all this tension in my neck or my shoulder or my pelvic floor. I had no idea until I started doing this, mindfulness type breath connection. Now that's where a modality like Qigong can help move that stuck chi, that stagnation from that area of the body. And I think it's really empowering too, because this is something that somebody can do at home on their own. They don't have to go to a practitioner, right? So can you do like, can we practice this now? I'd love to check it out.
Of course. Yeah, I would love to. Give me yes, let me just see where I am in space right here. I would absolutely love to. So I'm just give me one second. I'm gonna push this back just a little so you can
Do I
see.
need to be standing for this or can
No,
I?
I just want to give myself so that I can actually
Okay.
back up so you can actually see me.
Oh, good.
Okay. So first, we'll just do like a 4 or 5 minute little
Yes.
qigong. So we would normally start with a little breath work. So even one hand on the lower abdomen below the belly button, one hand on your chest
Does
in
it
the heart
matter which
center.
hand?
Doesn't matter which hand.
Okay.
And then just start to notice where your breath resides. Are you feeling that the your belly is pushing out on the inhale to allow that diaphragm space to descend? This actually is for a lot of people, a foreign way of even breathing because I think we have such tightness in the abdominal area. But really, if that diaphragm has the ability and not all that space to descend, the belly really should push out a little bit on the inhale. And then as you exhale, the diaphragm comes back up, the belly pulls back in. Even just noticing that, the belly pushing out on the inhale gently and then pulling back on the inhale. Excuse me. Inhale, the belly pushes out, and then exhale, the belly pulls in. And just getting acquainted with the breath first, just for a few moments. Maybe try slowing the breath down, both the inhale and the exhale. So we start with the breath because that's our quickest source of energy. And if we're breathing fully and deeply, we will have more chi inherently. And then let's open our eyes. So now we'll do a really easy activation practice. We call this chi massage. So we'll just take our, hopefully you don't have any microphones right here. Start knocking across the chest, the center of the heart, down the center of the sternum and back up just a few times. So we knock to help activate energy, right? A lot of us we have, an energetic bank account with tons of energy, but if it's not activated, then we don't always have access to it. So this is the way of activating it and also releasing stagnant emotional energy from the center of the chest. And then we'll come over to the front of I'm going to mirror you to the front of your right shoulder and
Okay.
then open up your hand. And then we'll just work our way from the inside past the elbow all the way down to the fingertips and then come back up the outside. So fingertips outside of the arm, back up to the shoulder. And let's just do that 2 more times. So we're following the arm yin channels down the inside, and then we're following the yang channels up the outside. That's the direction that they flow in. So we're just helping to encourage movement through that circuitry. And then come back to the center of the chest once you've done that 3 times. And then over to the front of the left shoulder. And then same thing, we'll go down the inside following the 3 yin channels and the arm go down the inside and the 3 yang channels come up the outside. And then again, 2 more times. So it's, gently activating and stimulating all of these meridian pathways in Chinese medicine. And then once you do that 3 times, come back to the center of the chest and then go down to the solar plexus area. And you might notice sometimes this area is a little tender, also where we hold a lot of tension.
Mhm.
So even just doing this and being like, wow, I am really tense in my solar plexus can be really illuminating. And then down below the belly button, right into the lower abdomen. If you're pregnant, don't do this.
Right.
You can do a little, maybe gentle, little like round rubbing.
Yes. Do not strike your belly.
Yeah. And then I'll just do another few seconds. And then I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and just let the palms of your hands face up. Rest your hands on the tops of your thighs. And just notice if you notice any buzzing and tingling, right, as we activate these pathways of energy down the arms, through the center of the torso. We're helping to even just mobilize and then circulate energy.
I feel a lot of movement in my lower abdomen.
right? It's pretty remarkable what even just those two movements can help bring to our awareness. And then we'll do um, a moving part of the sequential. If we put together a full class, we would do breath work, some activation, like we just did, some gentle stretching, and then the flowing, moving meditations. So we'll do a version of one that's called Buddha holding up the earth. Very poetic. Oops. So we're going to start with the palms facing up, down by your lower abdomen. Fingers are pointing towards one another.
Okay.
And then on the inhale, you're just going to raise your hands up. They'll spiral in towards your lungs and then out and then up towards the sky. And then on the exhale, just let your hands start falling back down. Your hands come right back down to that same starting point. We'll do that a few more times, nice and slowly. So on the inhale, the arms float up, they'll spiral in towards your lungs and then out and then up towards the sky. And then exhale back down. We'll do it a couple more times, just feeling, using your breath. So, one cue for Qigong is that we're moving on the breath. The inhalation should start and initiate the movement. The exhale initiates the opposite movement. So, we're just following our breath, feeling a lightness through the arms, through the fingertips. And then we'll do that one more time. And then as your hands float back down, just hold them like pretend you're holding an imaginary ball. So your palms are about maybe 6 inches from one another. Close your eyes and then just feel that space between your palms. And then very slowly, just start to move your hands away from one another, like a centimeter at a time. And then very slowly let your hands come back in towards one another. Just a few times. You might notice
Mhm.
a little magnetic push and pull. So
I
we
feel
say
it.
that is, we know that we are energetic beings, and this is just an example of like your unique energy field. So becoming in tune with the fact that we are, bioelectric. There's a magnetism that's happening. And then just let your hands fall all the way back down to your thighs. And then open your eyes.
Mm, that was awesome.
Did you feel that?
Yes, I definitely felt that magnetic pull with my hands.
So that is just like a little small sample, but even doing that, even like before you go to bed, whether you're, you know, you're going through fertility treatments or even, I mean, that even pulling up, it's called pulling up the earth, or Buddha holding up the earth is really good even to do just before you go to bed to help get into a really lovely, deep sleep state.
Mm,
Or, if you've had an encounter that kind of riled you up a little bit, using these techniques, just like a few minutes, like, excuse me, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and just like
mm.
kind of give yourself that moment can help start training the nervous system to recalibrate, right? And it can happen like we just did that 3 or 4 minutes, it can happen very quickly.
Right. It's just helping you get back to the parasympathetic. And I love, like you said, you can do it anytime. Like you can certainly, this is a great part of sleep hygiene and preparing for quality sleep. But if you are having like a heated encounter at work or the loved one, you just excuse yourself, you reset yourself, and it only takes a few minutes. And then you're re entering that situation really from a very clear more grounded perspective and you'll have a different response, it's going to shift the energy for the whole room, right? Like if it was, like you said,
It
heated or whatever, like things can shift.
it
You're
is
going to
like
impact
the
other people's energy field.
yeah, 100. I mean, you'll see if you do qigong, animals will start coming around because animals are energetic, sensitive beings,
Right.
and they're like, I feel whatever it is you're doing, and I want to be part of it. It really has this like butterfly effect on people, which is really lovely. And what I also love for fertility is that like, as we know, people that, that are going through IVF, like, it can be it is such a stressful period for people where they're, going early mornings, going in for monitorings, and it's everything's about numbers. They want to know what the AMH is and your FSH and your how many follicles or how many embryos. And that is all important, 100%. But I think I see is that people start mistrusting their bodies, and they start, um, yeah, no, kind of losing their faith and losing their connection. They're feeling disconnected from their bodies, and so going through even treatments like that, um, it can be so helpful just to kind of regroup and reground and feel their bodies and feel and trust where energy is going or not going. And it gives also some agency back. Like, oh yeah,
Mm,
like there's it's really important um to be taking care of the physical and emotional component, natural or going through any kind of fertility treatment. Just when things feel so out of control, that there is a tremendous amount of that can happen in each moment that we can access when we have these tools that allow us to do that.
yeah. I mean, talk about empowerment. And we know
I
that,
just have the chills.
yeah, we know that stress is like one of the number one causes of infertility. Like it is massively a big part. And so this is how there's so much we can do to help manage stress. That's the bottom line. Like, I mean, maybe you're gonna have to quit your job, like, or find something less stressful, right? Like, I made that recommendation to people before. I'm sure you have as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're preparing for motherhood, we have to talk about like what you've done for the past 15, 20 years in the career world is not going to serve you entering into the world of motherhood. And there's a priority shift that has to occur here, right? So that's, one piece, but like also like there's also people I'm sure you've met that are just a little more anxious in general, right? About a lot of things in their life. And so this is such a great way for them to help really get back regain their power. And
Yeah.
because I feel like anxiety is really giving your power away,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And, yeah, I think exactly what you're saying, like, helping knowing that we have the ability, of course, what we eat, what we we were just talking about, like, what our environment around us is like, what are we exposing ourselves to, maybe not intentionally,
Right.
um, but
Toxins.
so that is all important, but then the like, one of the greatest tools is like, okay, how am I feeling internally, and how am I gonna be able to, like, just, like, reintegrate and recalibrate and um and start trusting in ourselves again, right? And it's
Yeah.
like you can't, of course we can never, like, what do we say, like, you can it's the environment that is like it's like the context of everything on top of it. So with fertility, like, we're just helping, you want to help create the best internal environment and conditions possible, right?
Correct. And it
The
is
right
and
conditions.
it's not just looking at that physical, because that's what IVF is doing, right? Then they're talking about those numbers. They are just looking at the physical component, which is important, and it's only one piece of the picture here. So that's
Right.
what I love is like we can look at the numbers and we can also look at everything else and we can provide hope and in this power empowerment. And these are all the great, what are you putting in your body? Are you eating healthy, nutritious foods? Are you looking at your skincare, personal care, cleaning products, making sure they're non-toxic? Are you exercising, moving your body? all of these things that are going to support a healthy person. Healthy people is why, is where fertility is coming from, right? Like that's what allows people to reproduce.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. And I know we're running out of time, but one thing that I just love about this particular practice is that it's not about, I mean, we talk about Tai Chi separately, but like Qigong, it's not about perfection.
Mm.
It's not about perfection. It is constantly reconnecting and getting almost oftentimes reacquainted with who we are internally and in our emotional center, in our minds, and in feeling when all of those three facets, we call the three treasures in Chinese medicine, Jing, Qi, and Shen, when those are all in alignment, like things just you feel so at home in your body. And
Mm.
like that, I think, is like such a positive thing for fertility, right?
For everything
It's
like
like, you
that.
wanna have another person come in here and set up shop for a while, like, you gotta
Yes.
feel good in your body.
Yes, yes, and calling that in, right? The
Yeah,
baby's
yeah,
like, "That's where I wanna make my new home."
right? Like, the animals coming when you're doing Shigo, like, "Ooh, what's this?" Like, yeah,
Mhm.
like,
It's
whoever
magnetic, it's
mhm,
attractive, and, it's beautiful. Erin, thank you so much for coming on the show today,
of course.
sharing about Qigong, talking about Chinese medicine, and really I want women to know that this is what's possible for them when they're looking to become a mother, and this is like part of our lifestyle that is helpful for ongoing. This is not about just getting pregnant. You can continue this work during pregnancy, after birth. Postpartum can be very stressful as well. So, this is something that can be for the rest of your life that is going to help you feel good and manage your stress levels.
Yeah. Turning stress into vitality,
Mm.
transforming, composting, right? Composting that into something that's gonna help us feel, vibrant and joyful and youthful when we're 90.
Yes. Thank you. Sign me
Me
up. I
too.
got to make it to 120. So that is really like that's what's possible when we
Yeah,
really this is also really the most beautiful self-love, self-care is what I'm hearing. You're just doing a few minutes every day to show how much you love your body, you love yourself, and when there's areas that are stuck, you're healing, you're your own healer, right?
yeah, yeah.
So
It's really
powerful.
empowering.
Erin, I love it. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I loved being here always, and I always love talking to you. We always have a good conversation.
100%. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's show. Erin has been a colleague and a good friend of mine for many years. I'm very grateful to have her locally practicing near my office. We're both, Jersey City, Hoboken, and, really value having that team approach to caring for the perinatal women in our community. And if you want to learn more about Dr. Erin's practice, you can go to her website at ekalife.com. That's EKAHLIFE.com. You can also find her on Instagram at Erin Kumpf. That's KUMPF, acupuncture and herbs. Additionally, if you want extra support and guidance through your own personal health journey, I'm here to help. As an IFM trained functional medicine practitioner with over 20 years of experience, I'm now offering virtual functional medicine consultations specializing in preconception, fertility, and women's health. Check out my website, drlaurabrayton.com, and click Become a Patient to schedule a complimentary 15-minute discovery call with me to see if my program is the right fit for you. And if you love this show, please leave us a review. Go to ratethispodcast.com/well adjusted mama and follow the simple instructions.